These are the relatives of the disappeared. They've been staging a roadside protest in Vavonia for almost a year. They want to know what happened to their children and their husbands who went missing during Sri Lanka's civil war. And they want the government to reunite them. Jayavanita Kasapalai is here because the military separated her from her daughter Jerome as they were fleeing fighting in March 2009.
A lot of children were made to get into buses. Not parents though. I was holding on to my daughter, hugging her tightly and crying. And she was the same. I tried to get on the bus, but I was beaten. The bus left without me.
Jayavanita says her daughter is alive and that the government knows where she is because she believes her daughter is in this campaign poster from 2015, next to the future president Maithripala Sirisena.
My child must be thinking that if her mom was alive, she will definitely find her. She must have figured out my love and affection for her, because I struggled so hard to save her from being taken away.
The families of the disappeared come from Tamil and Sinhalese backgrounds, but they share the same search for answers. Arusili Cruz describes her husband Raji as a good man. She hasn't seen him since he was abducted outside their home on March 2nd, 2007.
I have gone to every single authority I can think of, including police stations, army and navy camps, the infamous Busa naval camp at Gol, and even to the criminal investigation department to find him.
She says the government has to take action for all families, not just hers.
We need to know what happened to the disappeared people. If they committed any wrong, you can certainly punish them, but give them back to us at the end of it. All we need to know is whether they're alive or not.
For 26 years, Sri Lanka was embroiled in a civil war between government forces and the liberation tigers of Tamil Eelam. The group was fighting for an independent Tamil homeland, and it nearly tore the nation apart. There were allegations of war crimes on both sides. Across the country, there are physical reminders of the military victory led by the former president Mahinda Rajapaksa. Battle sites have turned into places for reflection. But nearly a decade on from the end of the war, it's clear not all of the scars from fighting have healed. When the current government came into power in 2015, it made a series of promises to Sri Lankans. It would promote reconciliation and accountability for rights violations during the civil war. But the pace of progress has been slow, and there are many victims who are still seeking justice, which means the legacy of the war continues to haunt the daily life of many people.
The president keeps promising that he will not touch the war heroes as such. So the narrative with regard to the war, that this was a war that was fought with clean hands on the part of the government, which is a blatant lie, as we know from UN reports and otherwise, is something that continues with the present regime.
Gurupuran says many Tamils voted for the coalition government led by President Sirisena and Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe in the hope there would be post-war reform.
So in a sense, for me, accountability and political solution, both for this government, are a foreign policy management issue. It is not something that they inherently feel as something that this country needs to transition from the precarious past to a future that will be a much more inclusive and accommodative Sri Lanka.
The Sri Lankan government made an ambitious set of promises at the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva in 2015. It's recorded as Resolution 30/1. It would set up 4 pillars of transitional justice: truth, justice, reparations, and guarantees of non-recurrence. A key component would include establishing a judicial mechanism to investigate allegations of violations and abuses of human rights and violations of international humanitarian law. In 2017, Sri Lanka asked the Council for more time to deliver on those promises. The nation is still waiting. For many, those delays are unacceptable because they're blocking the path to reconciliation.
The perpetrators are also among us. They are also our brothers and sisters, or cousins, or uncles, or aunties, or classmates, or work colleagues. No? Primarily the soldiers from both sides. So we need to also reconcile how we are living among these people who have killed our own brothers and sisters, who have stolen land, and engaged in sexual violence and gender-based violence of a horrific nature.
Mano Tiptawala is the man overseeing the various reconciliation activities the country committed to under the UN resolution. He says the pace of transitional justice has been slow, but it is necessary.
Every additional day is a painful day for the victims and their families, so we are very cognizant of that. But at least this time we are doing something concrete, which is not going to be just a report and going away. We'll have to ask them to be a little more patient, and also we have to educate them on exactly what will happen, and hopefully in the next few years the process will start.
Which means the war is continuing to cast a shadow, long after the last shots were fired. Natalie Poyhonen, The Newsmakers, Colombo.